It's a Minimalist Monday edition of Optimal Finance Daily, episode 1095, Why a 3-Year Spending Ban Isn't as Crazy as It Sounds. And I Deserve a New Car, Right? Both by Jen of Frugal-Millennial.com. And I am Dan, I'm your host here on the show. Happy Monday to you if you're listening to us in real time. And this is where I read to you from some of the very best personal finance blogs on the planet. And if you have any topic requests for us, anything you'd like to hear me cover on the show, please visit oldpodcast.com and share those ideas. That's oldpodcast.com. And have you heard our other podcasts yet? Optimal Living Daily, the original show in this network, covers minimalism, personal development, and productivity. So if you like today's episode here, you're definitely going to like that show too. Just search for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this show to find that show along with all of our other podcasts. But for now, let's get right to today's 2 posts from Jen as we optimize your life. Why a 3-Year Spending Ban Isn't as Crazy as It Sounds by Jen of Frugal-Millennial.com. When I tell people I'm on a 3-year spending ban, they often act like that's completely insane. Many people try a spending ban for a week, a weekend, or a month. Doing one for 3 years is much less conventional. I chose to do this because my husband and I are working on paying off $127,000 of debt, only $26,000 left to go now, and paying off that much debt in 3 years is impossible unless we're extremely frugal. I can understand why it sounds nuts to some people, but it's really not as crazy as it sounds, because I don't stick to the spending ban 100%. My spending ban is more of a general rule that I usually stick to, but I make exceptions occasionally. I don't freak out every time I make an exception to my spending ban. I don't publish a post on Instagram complaining about how I screwed up every time I spend money, because I don't view it as a screw-up. So why do I even bother with a spending ban if it's not a true 100% ban? Here are a few reasons why. 1. It makes budgeting easy. Since I usually don't spend money on non-essentials, I don't even use a budget. That's right, I blog about personal finance, but I don't actually use a budget. Once the hubby and I buy a home and our expenses are much higher, and I start spending more money on fun stuff, I'll definitely be using a budget. I'm only okay with not using a budget right now because my expenses are extremely low, and I usually don't spend money on non-essentials. This simplifies things quite a bit. My budget looks something like this. Bills, X amount. Extra payment to debt, Y amount. Non-essentials, 0. If I decide to break my spending ban to buy one $20 non-essential item each month, it doesn't make much of a difference. On the other hand, if I were buying several non-essentials each month, the little things could easily add up and break my budget. 2. It makes it easier to say no. It can be a little awkward when friends ask you to go out while you're on a tight budget. Because of my spending ban, I don't have to pick and choose which events to spend money on. My friends know that I'm on a spending ban, and most of them are very supportive about it because they're frugal themselves, or they know what it's like to have debt. They only invite me to free events, which works out great. And 3, it reflects my values. People have said things to me like, "Isn't this too extreme?" or "Don't you deserve to have a little fun once in a while?" I can have fun without spending money, but no, I don't deserve to waste money when I'm buried in debt. The "but I work hard so I deserve nice things" trap is what keeps a lot of people in debt. I don't want to live that way. Getting out of debt is more important to me than going out to dinner or buying crap I don't need. Once I'm finally debt-free, I'll be able to treat myself to fun outings and other things when I can actually afford it. One last thought. A 3-year spending ban may seem crazy to some people, even though I don't stick to it 100%, but I feel the end result will be worth it. Once we're debt-free, we'll finally be able to buy a home, build savings, adopt another dog, and travel. Those things are worth more to me than spending money on stuff I don't need. And I have another post for you coming up in just a second, but first, when you start your hiring process, you may have questions like, will you find good applicants to choose from? What about education and experience? And how will you know you've made the right hire? Indeed is here to help. Millions of great candidates use Indeed every day to find their next opportunity. You can post a job in minutes and use screener questions to help create your short list of applicants fast. Also, add skills tests to your job posts so you can be confident in your applicants' abilities. Their library of more than 50 skills tests ranges from industry-specific skills like accounting to general aptitude tests like critical thinking. Indeed gives you the smart tools to make hiring decisions quickly and to be confident that you're making the right hire for your team. Post your job today at Indeed.com/OFD and get a free sponsored job upgrade on your first posting. That's Indeed.com/OFD. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Offer valid through March 31st, 2020. I Deserve a New Car, Right? By Jen of Frugal-Millennial.com. I know a couple who recently paid off massive credit card debt. After years of scrimping and never spending money on anything fun, they wanted to celebrate. I get that. I do. But they celebrated by putting themselves right back in debt. They purchased 2 used vehicles. I asked the woman if her husband really wanted a new vehicle or if he just bought the fancy new car to impress other people. I said, "Is he only buying this because of all his friends asking him when he's going to buy a new car?" "It's not his friends who keep asking," she whispered in a horrified tone. "It's his subordinates." He had recently been promoted and had received a pretty hefty raise. Regardless, they couldn't afford new vehicles because they still had about $10,000 left in credit card debt, some student loan debt, and no emergency fund. But they didn't care about that. They were tired of driving quote-unquote embarrassing vehicles that were actually pretty decent in my opinion. The husband was a big shot now, and he had to dress the part. Unfortunately, many of us fall victim to the lifestyle inflation trap at some point in our lives. Making more money doesn't make any difference if you increase your expenses every time you get a raise. Increasing your income will only help your financial situation if you know how to manage your money. Too often, we decide that we need a new car, or a new wardrobe, or a bigger house, just because we want to impress those around us and keep up with the Joneses. Before purchasing a new vehicle, I recommend asking yourself the following questions. Why do I want this? Is it because I truly want it, or is it because I think others expect me to buy it? Would it make more sense to put $200 a month toward paying off other debts or building savings? Could I wait until I can afford to pay cash for the vehicle, or until I could at least afford to pay the car loan off early? How expensive is my current car? Is my current vehicle costing me as much as a new vehicle would because of all the repairs it needs? If you're in debt or don't have any savings, I don't recommend buying a new car until your debt is paid off and/or you've built up an emergency fund. If your current vehicle is old and costing you a crazy amount in repairs, that might be a different story. Some suggest comparing the cost of the repairs to a year's worth of car payments. However, this ignores the other costs that come along with purchasing a new vehicle. Keep in mind that a newer vehicle will also require more expensive tabs, more costly repairs, because even new vehicles need repairs sometimes, and higher car insurance premiums. So, is it time for a new car? If you're debt-free, have plenty in savings, and truly want a new vehicle, the answer might be yes. Otherwise, the answer is probably no. You just listened to the posts titled, "Why a 3-Year Spending Ban Isn't as Crazy as It Sounds," and "I Deserve a New Car, Right?" Both by Jen of Frugal-Millennial.com. And that's a wrap for another Monday show. I hope you have a great rest of your day and that your week is off to a terrific start. And I'll be back with you tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.